well. Not totally recovered, but I am on the mend. So we will see how that goes. Um,
Microphone wants to sit right on it yet. They can hear you
Western. Welcome back, everyone, to Brook in the Air. After another short update, I am back for a brief hiatus, rather. I am back and ready to go after surgery. I was in the hospital for a little while. We are kind of easing back into the vlog flow, so this will be kind of a shortish one, but I hope no less informative. Fear of flying is something a lot of people deal with. Now, it's also known as aviophobia or aerophobia. I like to use aerophobia better because aerophobia literally means fear of air. Now, don't laugh, there are some people who have it. It doesn't mean they're afraid of oxygen. It means they're afraid of anything going past them or traveling through the air, etc. Now, it's something a lot of us deal with. Even seasoned travelers like myself, to novices, anyone who goes through this sort of thing. From, it doesn't matter what time of day they fly, from morning or night, either way. It really varies, but there's no known treatment for it. There's no known cure, if you will. There's some treatments, but no cure. Many psychiatrists and psychologists and therapists recommend CBT or cognitive behavioral therapy. One of the latest treatments is a VR treatment where they enter virtual reality designed to look and mimic flying. There's been mixed success on that. It's really iffy. However, there are some basic remedies you can use to treat your fear of flying or your aviophobia. One is if you're determined to fly economy, buy gum at any of the various stores in the airport. Not only will this action relieve the pressure in your eardrums that's popping your ears, but this will also give your nervous system something to focus on while you're flying. So that tends to relieve some of the anxiety and make flying more bearable. Now, this was all information, aside from the gum thing, this is all information found in the DSM-5, Diagnostic Manual of Statistical Disorders. Yeah. The title's right there. And you can pick this up at any library you want, or if you really want to own a copy, they have them for sale online. This is not limited by any means.
Probably even have an audiobook on Amazon, don't they?
Not an audiobook, no.
Ah.
But it is authored by the American Psychiatric Association, and as the numerical factor kind of indicates, there are 4 previous variations. This is the latest, published in 2018, and I think the DSM-6 will be out in 2029. Now, another solution is to eat before you fly. That has, again, mixed reception, mixed results, but overall, it can help, again, give the body something else to focus on, digesting your food, processing, things like that, and it can go a little easier. Another solution would be, honestly, flying first class, business class, or premium. Premium economy, even still, extra room, better service, higher quality environment. Now, I'm not just saying that because I like first class. No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying it because it works. It relieves claustrophobia because you have enhanced room. It relieves a lot of the anxiety built up of flying because you get plenty of alcohol on board, good if not great food, enhanced service, better quality everything.
Plus, the seats are comfier, aren't they?
Yeah, they have cushioning. These have cushioning rather. They can lie flat. So you can turn it into a bed. You can sleep the entire trip if you want. You won't even know you're in an airplane.
Yeah. Personal experience, probably the most terrified of flying I was when I had to take Spirit, and it was basically a bucket seat.
Which leads me to my next point. If you can, never, ever, especially if you're flying, never fly a low-cost airline. You will regret it for the rest of your life.
It's not just that the pilots are not as well trained. The flight staff usually doesn't care. The customers are usually entitled jerks more than everybody else, because usually if you're flying cheap, you're trading it for something.
There's a reason why you get like cross-country fares for $99. Because you get exactly what you pay for. The seat, just the seat, and only the seat. Forever just the seat. If you want food, you gotta pay for it. If you want baggage, you gotta pay for that too. Like actually them carrying your baggage on the plane. If you want a carry-on, you gotta pay for that too. If you want drinks, you gotta pay for every drink you consume on the plane. If you want, say, a blanket or a pillow, you gotta pay for those. It's like $20 per blanket and $5 per pillow.
Usually, as well, the cleanliness is not as well done as it can potentially be in higher level areas, and that can also lead to anxiety.
Oh yeah. You compare the likes of, say, Spirit to United, huge difference.
Well, let's go even more to the extreme. You compare Spirit to, I don't know, Emirates or Qatar.
There's no comparison.
Or Singapore.
There's no comparison. You're literally comparing peanuts to oranges.
Well, yeah. It's comparing a hotel to a bucket seat on a military aircraft.
Actually, the military aircraft is probably more secure because the Department of Defense actually trained the pilots to fly.
I meant comfy. Comfort worthy.
I was going overall.
Yeah, that's fair.
In general, those are the key solutions. Now, I don't really count Southwest as a true low-cost carrier because on Southwest, you know you're flying low cost, but at the same time, it's like,
It's not trash human seating or care.
yeah, you get at least a small snack and a drink. And the seats aren't feeling like they're trying to kill you.
Yeah.
This Southwest, their longest flight is from LA to Honolulu and back. They only travel in the continental U.S. Basically, if you have to fly intercontinental or like transatlantic, transpacific, whatever, book business or first class. At the bare minimum, book premium economy. Premium economy is like a combination of business and economy rolled into one. You don't get all the perks of business, but it's certainly a lot better than economy. Now, if you want to visit places like this is in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico, you're going to want to fly. You can technically drive. If you really are dead set on driving, you can drive down here, but it's next to impossible to get there in a timely manner. You're going to want to fly. So, I mean, if you really want to visit the Earth in all of its glory and splendor, you want to fly.
Yeah. Same thing, for instance, if you live anywhere else that is not next to Disney World or to Disneyland, you are probably going to want to fly, and so you're going to have to deal with it. And we are harping mostly on the Americans because, well, that's where we live. Speaking of Americans,
So we have an American, no, this is actually a 787 Dreamliner. You can tell because of the chevron engines. Next to a dinky little United Express Embraer E175. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, oh, no, this is a CRT 200. Sorry, yeah. Bombardier CRJ 200. United Express. Now, believe it or not, the United Express is a lot more reliable because American made the list yet again of the worst airlines in the world.
And why is that?
Well, we're not getting into a whole blog thing on this, but overall, and credit to DJ's Aviation, by the way. DJ's Aviation has a YouTube channel by themselves and gives news updates every week, so all credit to them. But American is one of the worst because of poor service, inconsistent quality, inconsistent soft and hard products, and overall a poor value for your buck. Although with the latest Sky Miles fiasco, Delta is certainly getting up there.
Yeah. And of course, bigger aircraft does not always mean better.
Now here we have the Lufthansa A340-500. They use a couple of 500s, but many more 600 models. They're phasing these out because they're regarded as relics, even though they're really not that old. They prefer the A350 and the Boeing 777, and they still have a couple A380s. So they're actually bringing back the A380 out of storage. So they're going to have 8 A380s flying as of January 2024.
Well, they mostly have the 2 engines to save gas so they can spend it on other things like comfort, right?
No. They have 2 engines because they're much more efficient overall.
Another view of the 4 engine.
The A340. Now, the A340 is very interesting in the fact that it alleviates almost all air sickness whatsoever. Very calm, very easy to fly. A very quiet demeanor inside. You hardly even know you're on an airplane with this on any class.
Unless you encounter turbulence, right?
No, even then.
Huh, that's pretty impressive.
Now again, all credit to airliners.net and MCA Photography. They do a great job. All credit to them. I do not own these pictures. They are all for them.
That looks like one hell of a storm.
Yes, this is a storm rolling in over Dallas. And you see United Airlines prepping for takeoff. They're doing pre-flight checks here. They have not boarded yet. They're still like a half an hour away.
Yeah, it's at the maintenance hangar, isn't it?
Yes.
Also, in regards to fear of flying, that storm has the potential to produce a couple of things that have led to air crashes, right?
Yeah, but we know how to avoid those now.
Well, we do know how to avoid those, but they also make for not the most comfy landing, especially with the wet runway, the wind.
Yeah, which is why they have precautions. They circle and wait for one runway to dry, or they go to their diversion airports.
And it's also why you need to make sure to have a good pilot, which is what United keeps trying to grab up, right?
Well, yeah, pretty much.
Well, it was also a poke at Delta and American.
We don't poke. We're on live YouTube. We don't want to poke too much.
They could do better by providing more money for higher quality pilots with more skill sets.
American just passed a $4.1 billion pilot raise.
And of course, the
Singapore Airlines A350. This is the pinnacle of luxury. These are all first class cabin seats, or what they call business really. First class is reserved for the upscale aircraft like the A380s. They still have first class on a lot of the A350s rather, but they're segmented differently. Like this would be, this is first or business, premium economy or business, so here, sometimes they put a second business cabin there, and economy on the back.
And I think Singapore is one of the groups that doesn't really have that much passengers who are afraid of flying because, well,
there's nothing to be afraid of.
The way they treat their customers.
Which is why they're one of the best airlines in the world. If you're going to fly, really, Star Alliance provides numerous options for flying premium or first class or business class at any rate for almost any of the 25 airlines. And with Emirates joining the Star Alliance later in 2024, it's going to get very interesting. Now this is the inside of the GE Gen X9 engine. Gen X for next generation. This powers the 777X aircraft. Now that's the other solution to being, well, I don't want to say cured, but treating your fear of flying. Knowledge. Learning how airplanes work, the aviation industry, and airports itself. And part of that is learning the engines. Now the aircraft, anything at all, derives its main electrical power from buses connected to the engines.
Well, actually, it's a lot of this wiring back in here that connects to everything else, isn't it? Because it comes through and provides the engine power.
Yep.
And here's something else to remember. Even if all the engines have stopped working, whether they're out of gas or they have problems, there is still a way for the airplane to get electrical power.
No, there isn't.
The rat.
No. The rat provides minimal operating power to the cockpit.
No, yeah.
It does not provide engine power and you won't be able to charge your phone. It does not provide passenger power whatsoever. It provides minimal operating electrical power to barely functionally necessary critical systems.
So the pilot can land.
Ideally, yes.
And hopefully he's good. Another thing, at least in my personal opinion, to learn from...
This is another GE9X engine at the Paris Air Show on the 747-8I. The only second aircraft the GE9X is operated on.
But as I was saying, another thing to learn from is, even though it does show bad things happening, and yes, this will be a shameless plug for a show we watch, air crash disasters can actually teach you how it's gotten better.
We're not legally entitled to on that show.
Yeah.
Now this is United's brand new domestic first product, which I will be flying on probably later next year for a short haul. We flew domestic United first class, 4 times before.
To San Francisco and Los Angeles.
Yes, and back.
Mm-hmm.
So that was
2 years ago and a year ago.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so 8 times.
Well, we weren't flying first class on the short jumps, so I think wouldn't it be only?
Yeah, we were.
Oh, well, unless there was a problem, like from Chicago.
we were still flying first class, but yeah, Chicago and back. No, that was premium economy.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's notice the life vest under here. Life vest, rather. For both parties, there's one here for that seat, and the other one is either in the same compartment or right underneath. There's the entertainment slot for both. This is brand new, by the way. Brand new United domestic first class. You got a privacy shade for how good it does. Leather upholstered seats. Hardback areas over here. See, this is a 2x2 layout, so it's obviously on their 737s. And each seat will have seatback entertainment. If this is the front row seat, and I'm pretty sure it is, like very up front, it has seatback entertainment screens in bulkhead. Over here. And this is a little bit better shading of these front rolling in.
And heavy with cumulus clouds, which can lead to lightning, turbulence, and...
Not doing any credit for those afraid.
Yeah. It really cannot be fun. When people tell jokes or comments about their plane getting hit by lightning and dropping out of the sky, yeah, that tends to mess
That rarely happens now. We're trying to alleviate your fears, not add to it.
Yeah. It does rarely happen. She is correct on that, and that is because of better plane design, which has come from years and years and lots of smart people.
And yes, a few crashes, but we learn with each crash. We apply the lessons learned from that to successive planes and successive generations and successive pilots.
Yeah.
And we now know to either fly above storms or go around them.
Mm-hmm. or just keep the plane on the ground if it's bad enough.
That's the mantra for civilian aircraft, like for private planes.
If the plane is delayed because of weather, there's usually a good reason, so you might be a little late, but at least you're going to get there.
And my best advice in that case, enjoy the airport. There's a reason why like 99% of American airports are malls.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is probably the safest airplane in the skies today. This one obviously belongs to Etihad, but this is the famed Airbus A380 Mega Jumbo plane. Powered by 4 Rolls-Royce Trent 900 engines. Very, very quiet no matter what airline it flies in. And up here you have first class. Generally speaking, they vary per.
Because it's a 2-tier cabin, right?
No.
It's not?
Well, 2-tier, yeah, but
Yeah.
as far as classes go, it's upwards of 4 classes.
Yeah, 2-tier.
Double-decker.
Double-decker, yeah. Double-decker, 2-tier.
Tier means different things.
Oh, well, excuse me.
So, generally speaking, for Etihad, especially in this case, you have first class up here, business here, or first class, depending on how they configure it. Business, and economy, backwards economy.
So, a question. In your personal opinion, what is safer to fly on, and what would people be more comfortable in, not counting the carriers? Boeing or Airbus?
Airbus.
General.
Airbus by far. Both plane manufacturers have very good points. The 787 cannot be beat as far as efficiency, quality, and overall safety record, but Airbus has put together a vastly superior product overall. For short haul flights, you cannot beat the Airbus A320 and 321neo, and for very short flights, you cannot beat the Airbus A220. The Airbus A220, especially the Dash 300 variant, which is the newest model, it was formerly the Embraer. Cannot be beat really. It gets you from point A to point B in very stylish efficiency and unbeat safety. Now, for long haul flights, you can't beat the Airbus A350, especially the Dash 900 XB, which yes, stands for extra wide body. They're coming out with the Airbus A350-1000, which is going to be, oh God, I'd say nigh unbeatable, really, compared to Boeing 777-X.
Okay. Safest and most comfortable carrier for anybody afraid to fly, which would be?
Singapore.
Singapore Airlines? Why?
Singapore Airlines takes flying to a new level. They've expanded customer service, they've enhanced reliability, they have treated safety as a top concern for their entire business career ever since they were founded. If you have to go with number 2, I'd go with Qantas, although they've fallen down lately. As long as you are not picky about amenities and things like that, Qantas can't be beat. If you're an American, you want an American carrier to rely upon, United. United has not had a crash since, God, they haven't had mishaps since 2012.
Well, they've even had more recent mishaps, but that's been...
We're not going to cover that.
Random shenanigans.
We're not going to cover that. Minor mishaps since then, but no one has died in a United crash since at least 2004. Maybe earlier. American has had a worse safety record, and Delta's not bad. You could go on worse airlines than Delta and be fine. You know, airlines to avoid, that's a list by itself.
Yeah, we could dedicate let's dedicate an entire show to that, about best and worst, and if we haven't already.
I'm just going to say, avoid American at all costs. Now, speaking of low-cost carriers, it's a slight joke, American's not a low-cost carrier. American is technically a flag and full-service carrier, but American might as well be low-cost for all the good they do, really.
Well, they have the same problems. British Airways has fallen from grace lately.
Yeah, true enough. And so is Qatar.
Mm-hmm.
So this is Jetstar Airways. the Australian equivalent of, say, JetBlue, really, but they're owned by Qantas.
It actually, I think, wouldn't it be closer to like United Express or American Eagle?
No, that'd be Qantas Express.
I thought EasyJet was Jetstar was Qantas Express.
No,
Meh.
there's Qantas, Qantas Express, and Jetstar.
No.
Now, Jetstar operates short-haul flights from their hub at Sydney. Everyone has a hub at Sydney. To Melbourne, Surabaya, Kuala Lumpur, and Mindanao. And that's about it. Doesn't really go any further. They have one U.S. destination in Honolulu. But that service is canceled more often than not. If you buy a ticket on Jetstar from Sydney to Honolulu, good luck. I wish you all the best, because you're probably not going to get on that flight. The Great American Southwest. I'm not referring to the train, I'm referring to the airline. Now, I don't let my attitude fool you, I'm a huge fan of Southwest. If you gotta fly low cost, and medium haul at least, then take Southwest by all means. Must-have. Congrats, you have a blessing. Southwest has no real classes, no fare classes at all. They have what they call Love It or Gotta Fly, whatever they call it, which is just a standard seat with a little extra room. That's it. All of their planes are either the 737-800 model or the 737 MAX 9, or MAX 8. They have nothing else.
The big stressors for them right now are that they've got a bit of an archaic flight system, and while they're trying to get it all set up, they waited a little bit too long for the upgrades, which is why, as we recall in the news, there were several big problems with Southwest as of recently, and that led to a lot of stressors and fear of flying for them.
Now, I know a lot of you heard that on the news and you were like, well, I'm not flying anymore, or again, I'm not flying at all, I'm going to drive. You might want to rethink that. After 9/11, there was a huge rush of people who thought that, like a huge rush. Then a lot of people got in their cars and just said to drive to their destinations because they thought it was safer. 350% increase in traffic fatalities.
Yeah.
In the weeks after 9/11.
Because here's the important part that you have to remember about flying a plane. You're not the one doing the driving. It's basically like taking a bus.
Pretty much. The logic is, if you're taking an aerial bus, traveling through the air at like 700 miles per hour, thereabouts, 40,000 feet, you might as well enjoy it. You're not going anywhere for a good 3 to 5 hours or longer. You might as well lay back, get a couple drinks, and just relax.
Yeah.
If you're gonna die, you're gonna die. Chances are you won't. There's a 0.00001% chance of dying in a plane crash.
And part of the reason for that is because most of the pilots, with all the crud we give some companies, are incredibly well trained. You've also got the air traffic controllers. You've got the meteorologists who keep track of the weather. You have massive amount of communication, both verbally and written, going to the pilots for them to do stuff.
If we had the amount of regulations, red tape, and training forced on drivers that we do for pilots, we wouldn't have hardly any traffic fatalities.
Yeah.
I guarantee you that. Instead, these pilots have to go through upwards of 12 years of training before they even get to sit in the pilot seat.
Yeah. I would honestly say the last time the two were close was when flying first started and you had the crash over the Grand Canyon.
That wasn't when it first started. That was like 5 to 10 years after.
The big time when they first started taking passengers, and it was
big time.
And it was see and avoid. It's okay. We're at something traveling very quickly, and we need to be able to judge by our eyes where this other big thing traveling.
He's referring to the United crash between United and TWA, in very early quad engine not even turboprops.
Was that 37?
1937, something like that. Yeah. But it was a crash over the Grand Canyon between a United and a TWA Constellation aircraft, and they crashed over the Grand Canyon, and killing everyone on board both planes.
They had no radar at the time. They had no air traffic controllers in the area. They were kind of in a dead zone on their own. Hence why I liken it to cars. Because nobody's going to tell you besides truckers if something's happening in the area and you're driving out in the middle seeing nothing.
We also have very few drivers if that training was instituted.
I mean, think about it even with a motorcycle. Some of those idiots don't even wear helmets.
So here we have the long-haul Boeing 777 variant. Now, the 777 is a favorite for long-haul aircraft and airlines alike, really. As illustrated here. The 777F is a freighter variant, as you can tell by the F. It isn't.
Hence why it also says FedEx on it.
Now, it isn't nearly as popular as the DC-10 or the 767, which are no longer used for passenger service, but they're immensely popular for freight. Now, the 777-200 was the original progenitor, great granddaddy of them all. It's painted in KLM colors here, but no airline operates the 200 anymore. There are better, more efficient airlines, or airplanes, that airlines like to use, in contrast. Now, the ER is still used. That's for medium to long haul routes that require a higher capacity than most airplanes can provide.
When you're going, for instance, from New Zealand to Indonesia?
Now, the LR version is more commonly used, as these two variants are phased out. Qatar Airways used to use the LR, and it still does in dwindling numbers from area to area, but let's face it, everything else has Qatar's long range, long haul.
Well, it's the Middle East bounce around, isn't it?
Oh, it's one of them.
So if they wanted to go from, like, for instance, Qatar to Oman.
Oh, that's a short haul.
No, okay, well, Qatar to Egypt.
Medium haul.
Yeah.
At most. Proving once again that he doesn't understand geography, folks.
Hey, I don't have an idea of the range that this has. What is the mileage range on the LR?
Around 4,000 miles totally, in total.
So technically, the 777 200 LR could go
as a rule,
almost coast to coast.
It could, but as a rule, the airlines tend to hold the LR to around 2,700 to 3,000 nautical miles. That's why United is funded using LR on routes from their hub in San Francisco to Honolulu.
Also, passenger count factors in, right?
It does count, yes. Load factor. 777-300, the successor to 200, really, has obviously, a stretched fuselage, can carry more, long haul.
Bigger engines, too, doesn't it?
Bigger engines to accommodate the extra capacity. Cathay Pacific flies the 300 still from their base in Hong Kong to, a variety of destinations, including Melbourne and Perth.
Because one of the other big things with the increase in size is also the increase in fuel capacity, right?
Generally, yes. Fuel load capacity, usage. Airlines cannot land with a full load of fuel, or even a half load. They need to dump fuel if they encounter an emergency. If they encounter an emergency, they need to dump fuel no lower than 5,000 feet. So fuel has time to evaporate in the air.
Unless you do it over water, which then you get lucky.
Contaminates water supplies and needs to... Yeah. Now, this is the big one being built right now and, still being produced. the Boeing 777-300ER. Many airlines use the 300ER as their flagship first class or business class offering. Emirates has a fleet of over 150 777-300ERs, and almost every airline I know of has a fleet of 777-300ERs because of their amazing cost savings, their distance to fuel cost ratio, their load factor, their pretty much everything you think of.
Because they pretty much designed the engines to sip fuel instead of guzzle, right?
That too. These are two new ones that are just coming online. Although the 777-9 isn't due for another couple months at least. This was derived from their 777X program. Qatar has placed an order for over 200 777-8s and 9s. BA has placed an order for over 150 777-9s.
As long as they've got a big enough airport to handle it, they should be fine.
Well, considering they were planning on retiring much of the 777s anyway.
Well, I was more making a poke at Heathrow.
No.
Because that's another big thing with fear of flying is the airports.
Very little. It's more the people in the airport. There's a claustrophobia, breeding anxiety.
No, yeah, that's true. Speaking of cities.
So this is one of the most majestic places on Earth. This is the Emirate of Dubai in the United Arab Emirates. This is the Palm Jumeirah, and over towards the south and the east is the Burj Khalifa, the tallest building in the world. And really, the city is a paradise. Basically, the entire concept of the UAE at this point is, okay, since we know oil is running out, we're going to focus our entire goal on tourism.
And because of that, they've been expanding their airport, right?
No, they aren't expanding, they're building a new one.
Oh, that's right, they are building a new one.
The old one, IATA code DXB, is still in service, but they're building a new one called DWB over here. So one over here, and one over here.
And that's because of the increased tourism that they're looking for. So, in reality, once they get the new one built, they could potentially upgrade the old one and have two airports to handle the capacity.
They're actually looking at making DXB their cargo hub and having the other one their passenger hub.
Yeah, that would do it because they could get them flying in and out from the west and then use the other one to fly in and out from the east. That way, opening up different routes and making it efficient.
Now, this is also the home and base of Emirates Airlines. Not to be confused with the Etihad Airlines that we saw earlier. And yes, it's Etihad, not Etihad. Or Ahad. No, it's Etihad. Which is the flag carrier of Abu Dhabi. Sorry, Abu Dhabi. Now, if you want to visit this place, I highly encourage you to do so at your leisure whenever you get a chance. It's fantastic. But I encourage you to fight through your fear of flying, because it's the only way you can visit this place. I suppose you could take a cruise ship to it, but overall, flying is just so much better and quicker.
Yeah, you got a better chance of triggering your fear of drowning taking a cruise ship.
Yeah. Now, this is an aerial view of Dubai with the palm that way. This is the marina area. You know, it's fun just to walk on the pier and gaze at all the yachts there in the Central Mall complex. Now, the Burj Khalifa over here is connected to the mall, and also is the home of the Armani Hotel Dubai, which makes up the first 30 stories of the Burj Khalifa. It's amazing.
Now, it's views like this that can also help you with your fear of flying, because you will only get this type of view from when you're in the air on a plane taking off or especially landing.
Oh yeah.
That is another reason to get the window seats. You can leave the windows shut for most of the time, but you will not get majestic views any other way in person.
There is no way, unless you're wealthy enough to afford a helicopter tour, and at that point, I wish you luck. Have
Yeah,
fun.
we could go into how helicopters are more dangerous, but that's
If you're safe enough to travel in a helicopter, then what are you doing here?
yeah.
This is United's main hub, obviously, in Chicago O'Hare, ORD, which we've been to many times.
That we have. Because from our location, it is the biggest hub, and since we usually fly United, which we're going to be having a different experience in around Christmas.
In 3 months?
Because we're going to be testing out long haul Air Canada. So you guys will get to hear our talks about Toronto.
Well, we've been testing it out. I have already tested it out, and I have reviews up on my channel. But this will be the first time I'm testing Air Canada out transatlantic, international first class. So these are your 3 United 737 Max 8s. Now, the hump here is the Wi-Fi router, essentially.
Yes, and that's another way to distract yourself if you're afraid of flying. If the Wi-Fi is working, watch a YouTube video. Heck, follow her channel. Watch some videos from her channel. That's a very simple way. Read an audiobook. Do whatever.
Watch one of my many...
and yes, I said read an audiobook, I know.
Watch one of my many fellow YouTubers. Josh Cahill, Trek Trendy, Vicarious Voyager. Oh, Vicarious Voyager. He does great work, by the way. Fantastic. His videos are exemplary.
He also has plenty of dad jokes.
Yes. Very funny guy, comedian, and mixes humor perfectly with his videos. So this is Singapore Airlines first class suites on their A380.
Yeah.
Offered on long-haul flights from their hub at Singapore, obviously, Changi Airport. Changi, by the way, is one of if not the best airport in the world. If you go back on my vlogs, or my blogs at least, I have done not the top airports in the world. Changi is number 1.
And we promise once this gets popular enough with all you guys, we will take Singapore Airlines and go to Changi Airport. Changi, thank you. Sorry. See, I butcher it too. We will go to that airport so you guys can experience it through our eyes.
Now, with the A380 first class suite, you're treated as a first class passenger. You get moisturizing pajamas, leather recliner,
moisture wicking,
and moisturizing.
Oh, they do both.
They have pockets of lotion within the pajamas themselves.
Oh, very nice.
Leather armchair designed by Porsche. Or Porschner Frau. Sorry, Porschner Frau, which does the interiors for Porsche. Or Porsche. An actual feather duvet and full bed that can, well, it's a bed. It's very nice, very comfortable. This tablet can be slid out, and you can order any food anytime, or you can just call your captain steward to come.
Or your butler.
If you think of Emirates.
Oh, Emirates is the only one with butler. Point remains. You have a personal person.
Yes, you can just call them for champagne, Coke, caviar, Pepsi, water. I don't know what to drink, but it's there. And then what they're not showing you here is on the other side is a huge 32-inch TV. You can watch almost anything on it.
And it's a smart TV, so you can watch Netflix in the sky.
You really can. Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus. Why on earth you want to watch Disney Plus? But you can.
But
if you're a couple, you have 2 tickets, this divider can be folded down to the bottom, and you can have a joining double bed.
And yes, if you want to pass the time joining the Mile High Club, go nuts.
They know what goes on here.
Yeah. You're paying enough so they don't care. It's basically a hotel room in the sky.
Now, obviously, with this, it's easier to purchase with frequent flyer miles and money, but if you have that money, I wish you well.
Mazel tov. Yeah.
And that's all we have for you today. I will be back next week with another feature vlog. I will see you in the air, and please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And I love you all, and see you soon.